Brooklyn Bridge, one of the city's most well-known tourist attractions, but it sure is a pain in the butt to get to the pedestrian entrance. So this is the closest subway stop to the Brooklyn Bridge in Brooklyn, the High Street Brooklyn Bridge subway station on the A and C lines. And I'm going to show you how you can get to the Brooklyn Bridge from here. So say you just got off the train here, you see, okay, there's the exit, right? The Brooklyn Bridge should be easy to get to from here, but this is actually the wrong exit. I'm going to go to this exit later after I show you the right way to get to the Brooklyn Bridge, which is the other side. And it's actually the MTA's fault as well as the city's fault for not having these signs better. This exit, however, was the original subway exit for the station. It was the only one. But we got to go to the other side of the platform for the most convenient exit to the Brooklyn Bridge. And unfortunately, it's not the easiest exit to get to because of all this construction. So maybe it is better to take the other exit right now. Also, the escalator is out in this exit right now. So you want to get off at this exit, Cadman Plaza East, Adams Street, and High Street. And you want to get off at the exit for Red Cross Place. That's the closest exit to the Brooklyn Bridge. You can get to the Brooklyn Bridge at any of these exits, but this is just the most convenient. As you can see, they're doing a lot of construction here. This might be different when you come, but this is where we go. You see, this exit's going to be closed when they do the construction. And there used to be the escalator next to us, but right now there is no escalator. And this is going to make it very, very difficult for tourists to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. So as of November 2022, if you want to take these options, I'm going to show you all the different options to get to the Brooklyn Bridge from this subway station. There is another subway station that's close by here on the F train called the York Street, but that's a little bit out of the way. So here you want to get off at this exit, High Street and Adams Street, Cadman Plaza East. If you got off at the other exit on the other side, you won't have this option. You'd have to pay again to get in. But here it is, Brooklyn Bridge, left on Red Cross Place, right on Cadman Plaza East. This is where we need to go. Oh wow, look at this. It's going to be closed from November 11th until November 21st. So this may not even be an option for you when you come. So this is how you get to the Brooklyn Bridge from here. And when you get out at this exit, right, it's like, where do I go now? There's construction here. You walk around, there's no signs. But you turn around this corner, you see the Manhattan Bridge, and the Brooklyn Bridge is nowhere to be found. Well, let me tell you, this is the Brooklyn Bridge here. Now, there's actually two different pedestrian entrances to the Brooklyn Bridge. There's one on Tillery Street, which is like all the way back there, one long block, which is probably like another 10 minutes walk to go down there and then come up here. Or there's the staircase, which is a lot easier. So you want to go over here, make a left here, and then make a right at the next street. Another thing that's really confusing about this subway station is that it's signed as High Street, but there's actually very little sections of High Street left. I think there's only like one short block of High Street left. The street where I am right now, Red Cross Place, used to be a part of High Street, but after doing some construction here, whatever, it got renamed. So here we are, Cadman Plaza East, Brooklyn Bridge stairs to the right. This exit was actually very tricky for me to find the first time, and I spent a lot of time in New York City. And here we are, the Brooklyn Bridge walkway. The entrance is right over here on the left-hand side, right where the halal cart is. No bicycles are allowed on this route. And this is where you take the walk to Manhattan. But now I'm going to show you what happens if you take the other exits by mistake. So let's retrace our steps a little bit here. If you were to get off on the other side, Cadman Plaza West and Cranberry Street exit, you'd actually have to walk through this park here, which you may think, oh, it's not too bad. The problem is that there's a very large roadway on the other side that you need to cross, and the signage isn't really that clear to get to the Brooklyn Bridge from here. As you can see, there's a exit ramp for the Brooklyn Bridge here that goes right onto the streets. That makes it very difficult to cross. And it's not too obvious how to get to the Brooklyn Bridge from that subway exit over there. You can see this busy roadway, all the cars exiting. There's at least like 6 lanes of traffic you need to cross over here to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. All right, here's the other subway exit that I was looking at when I was showing the subway station. It's also the main exit since more people get off here. So let's go down here and see how the signage is, how they direct people to get to the Brooklyn Bridge from here, if any. So here's the exit, right? I don't really see any signage here. Well, it says Cadman Plaza West, Cranberry Street, Henry Street, but there's no signage here how to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. So you just kind of have to know you got to cross the street and go into the park to get to that pedestrian walkway. And then you come up here, it's like, okay, now I'm in Brooklyn. Where's the Brooklyn Bridge? How do I get there? Just go through that park and it's on the other side. But it's not too obvious because it's not really displayed too well on sites such as Google Maps. Now I'd like to show you the other exit, how to get there, because that one is really out of the way. I guess it's good to know this exit anyway that I just came from, because they're going to be doing construction on the other one for a little bit, so it'll be closed. Just simply walk through the park and you'll be there. Now we have to cross over the highway, the exit ramp. This is the less obvious way to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. If you miss the park, you can go this way. But as you can see, it's very intimidating to cross the street with all these cars coming like that. And what a shame it is to get off from this subway station. You see this and you're wondering how you get there. I do think the city could put up some more signage there at the Cadman Plaza West subway exit. It will make it a lot easier. There's a sign here that says Brooklyn Bridge, and although this is a good way to go, it's not the best. As you see with all the traffic we had to cross over. If I didn't think this entrance was so difficult, I wouldn't have to make a video about it, but since it is, it definitely deserves a video. And here we are. Brooklyn Bridge walkway is over to my right. Now I'll show you the other exit, which you gotta go over here. This is a long walk through Brooklyn to get there. You're basically like on the wrong side if you get off at the Adams Street exit. So basically just retrace these steps in reverse if you manage to get off at this subway exit by mistake. Although, to be honest with you, I would just take the longer route, which I'll show you once I get to that subway entrance. See here, there's no sidewalk on the other side. And this is very dangerous now because we need to cross over the entrance of the Brooklyn Bridge here at Pearl Street. In fact, I don't even think we can cross here. As I said before, you would think for such an important tourist attraction, they'd have a better way and better signs to direct people how to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. These people might all be tourists too, looking for the Brooklyn Bridge. They're wondering, where the heck do I go? Well, at least we crossed the street now. Now we need to go here. By the way, down that way at the end, that's the section of the street that's still named High Street. There's no other streets in this area named High Street, so just the name of the subway station alone trips up people. Can't believe I've been walking around for 20 minutes already, showing the entrances and the exits from the subway station and the Brooklyn Bridge. But it's just that confusing, and I don't want people to get lost. All right, so here's the far exit of the High Street subway station. The good news is if you get out at this subway station, you can always go down. There's an underpass here which cuts underneath this roadway for the Brooklyn Bridge, and you can still get out at the Cadman Plaza East exit at Red Cross Place. So I'll show you that right now. Here's the underpass. And the exit for Red Cross Place is right over here. This is definitely a much better method than walking up Adams Street, crossing over Pearl, where the traffic for the Brooklyn Bridge enters, and then walking that way, because I find that to be very dangerous. And here we are again, the exit where I originally got out at, Cadman Plaza East, Red Cross Place, right here. But now I'm going to show you what happens if you follow the sign where it directs you to where to go for the Brooklyn Bridge. If you happen to walk all this way thinking there's the right way to the Brooklyn Bridge, I mean, all of them are exits to the Brooklyn Bridge, but this is just the most inconvenient one right here. And we're not done yet. If you thought this was bad already. So here we are, we got out. Now you're wondering, how do I get to the Brooklyn Bridge from here? It says this big sign, Brooklyn Bridge, pedestrian entrance, use Tillery Street. So let's follow it, see where it leads us, to the left. This is much further than going underneath the passageway to the other subway exit and then going on Red Cross Place to Cadman Plaza East, which turns into Washington Street. That's the other thing that trips people up too, is Cadman Plaza East becomes Washington Street. It changes names. They might be looking for the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't even know. You see now there's another sign, Brooklyn Bridge, pedestrian entrance, use Tillery Street. And you know what I find a lot of people doing is they actually cross over the roadway here across the lanes of traffic just to get to that pedestrian entrance. And although I've seen it done, I do not recommend it at all because it gets very busy here. I think these people are doing it, and unfortunately I see it done pretty much every time I come here. People make the risk to get to the Brooklyn Bridge and cross all these lanes of traffic just to get to that middle part there. But overall, this subway exit and Brooklyn Bridge entrance whole design is a complete fail from the MTA as well as the New York City government. They should have better infrastructure to connect people to the Brooklyn Bridge, better signage, but instead we got a whole mess of traffic and practically no signs at all. In fact, at the main subway exit that we just saw at Cadman Plaza West, there were no signs directing people where to go to the Brooklyn Bridge. And that's going to be the only entrance in like a week when they close off these two exits. And then if you get off over here, they tell you, oh, Brooklyn Bridge pedestrian entrance is down this way to the left, but you already see how far we need to walk already. And then we need to walk back the same distance on the median there. And that just takes a lot longer to get to Manhattan at that point, crossing the bridge. Because as we're gonna see later, the staircase is already like a quarter of the way up past this median. So why not just go to the staircase in the first place, rather than walk back to the entrance here and then go back where you came from? It's very impractical. Okay, so now we've made it here. This is actually the only entrance to the Brooklyn Bridge for the cyclists. It's important when you're here to walk on the left-hand side, since the bikes are on the right. Oh, look at these people now. Now they're braving crossing over here. This is insane. I mean, for the pedestrian safety, if a city really wanted people to like stop crossing over these easy fences here, they could put up taller fences. It's really a shame how people need to do that, because the way to get onto the Brooklyn Bridge is just so stupid, walking back all that way. Even just putting something like this instead of these will deter people from putting their lives in danger. Here's the cycling path to the right. By the way, I have gripes about the cycling path as well. It can get very narrow in places, and it gets really tough to pass someone if you need to. It also has a few blind corners, and sometimes debris builds up along the bike path, so it can get very tricky to ride your bike here. Finally, we got to the subway entrance. Meanwhile, you could save all that walking, backtracking, and then coming back here if you made your way to the stairs. Meanwhile, the city says, oh, Brooklyn Bridge entrance, use Tillery Street, and waste an extra like 15 minutes of your time just going there and coming back. Meanwhile, it might be easier saying Brooklyn Bridge entrance, go back downstairs in the subway station and use the other entrance, and then follow the signs for the staircase. And the staircase is right below us. You could have avoided all that walking by going to the staircase. All right, well, I guess this wraps up my video of how to get to the Brooklyn Bridge from the High Street subway station. I know it was confusing, but the city made it confusing. Just basically follow the first method that I use to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. That's the most convenient. If not, just use the main entrance and walk across the park. That's the end-all be-all of it if you want to get to the Brooklyn Bridge in the most convenient way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.